June 18, 1815. The morning mist clears over Waterloo's muddy fields. Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of the French, master of Europe, stands ready with 73,000 men on an empty battlefield. Wellington never showed up. The British are still having tea somewhere. The Prussians? Still lost in the woods, probably. Instead, the French army is about to face something that will make them question everything they know about warfare. The AH-64 Apache, humanity's deadliest attack helicopter, dropped into a battle fought with muskets and cannons. So what happens when 200 years of military evolution meets the most decisive battle of the 19th century? Can one helicopter stop Napoleon's Grand Army? Let's find out. Let's establish the absurdity here. In this corner, weighing in at 8 tons of American military-industrial complex, the Apache. Crew of 2, top speed 182 miles per hour, and enough firepower to ruin anyone's baguette breakfast. In the other corner, the Grande Armée, 73,000 soldiers who've conquered most of Europe, using tactics that Napoleon literally wrote the book on. They have horses, which are basically 1815's version of all-terrain vehicles. They've got smoothbore muskets accurate to maybe 50 yards on a good day, cannons that fire solid iron balls using gunpowder measured with actual scoops. Their idea of advanced technology is putting a bayonet on a stick. Their communication system is guys with flags. Their targeting computer is a Frenchman squinting really hard. First contact. The sound hits first. That distinctive rotor thump echoes across the valley. Half of Napoleon's army thinks it's thunder. The rotor noise alone is causing horses to panic from a mile away. The first Hellfire launches from its 16-missile load. 8 seconds of flight time. 8 seconds where a French artillery crew is living their normal lives, probably complaining about the mud. Then, physics arrives, traveling at Mach 1.3. Explosion. With its powerful shockwave, it doesn't just destroy the cannon, it kills or fatally wounds everyone nearby. A single Hellfire can easily destroy a tank. So imagine its effect on an army with no armored protection. At the sight of the flying metal bird, nearby crews are struck by a life-changing realization. They're fighting something that doesn't play by the rules. After the first strike, Napoleon begins to adapt despite the confusion. He spreads out his formations. The Apache's pilot switches to the M230 30mm chain gun under its forward fuselage. Against men in wool uniforms standing in neat lines, it's like using a sledgehammer on graham crackers. The famous French columns that conquered Europe become abstract art painted in mud and terror. The Imperial Guard tries to maintain formation. These are elite soldiers who've marched from Madrid to Moscow. They've faced every weapon Europe can throw at them. One burst from the chain gun cuts through a battalion like an invisible scythe. Men simply fall apart. Some survivors don't run immediately. They're too professional for that. But it doesn't last. They stand there, stunned, trying to process what just happened. Then instinct overrides training, and 20 years of discipline evaporate in seconds. The bravest men try to fire back with their muskets and cannons, but without success. The Apache is too high, and even if a few rounds do reach it, the AH-64 is essentially a flying tank with an armored cockpit. Now it's time for the Hydra 70 rockets to go out. 19 rockets ripple off in sequence, creating a wall of explosions across Waterloo's battlefield. It's complete chaos for the French army. The psychological damage is worse than the physical. These men have charged through grape shot, through musket volleys, through everything 19th century warfare could offer. But this breaks something fundamental in their understanding of reality. You can't charge what flies. You can't outflank something moving at 150 miles per hour. You can't fix bayonets against laser-guided missiles. Here's the Apache's problem. Math. It carries 16 Hellfire missiles, 76 rockets, and 1,200 rounds for the chain gun. Sounds like a lot until you're facing 73,000 men. Even with perfect accuracy, one shot, one kill, the Apache can maybe directly eliminate 2,000 soldiers. In a Napoleonic battle where casualties regularly hit 30,000, that's significant but not decisive. Except this isn't about the numbers. It's about what those numbers do to everyone else's head. Every time the Apache appears, entire regiments dissolve. Not retreat, dissolve. Men throw away muskets that took months to manufacture. They abandon cannons worth more than they'll make in a lifetime. They desert eagles that their regiments have carried for decades. The mere sound of rotors approaching causes thousands to remember urgent appointments elsewhere. Napoleon watches his army evaporate like morning dew, not from casualties, but from pure existential terror. His perfectly disciplined war machine is being dismantled by fear of a single flying machine. After 2 hours of flight, the Apache's warning panel looks like a Christmas tree having a panic attack. Fuel gauges are running low. The two pilots have maybe 30 minutes before this helicopter crash. Napoleon notices the pattern. The Iron Bird attacks, then leaves, returns, then withdraws. It's not playing with them. It's conserving something: resources, energy, time. Napoleon wants to counterattack, but it's too late. His army is in complete shambles, and the Apache has done its job. To crush the last bit of hope, the flying monster unleashes its remaining ammunition on the army. These are the men who stood firm while Moscow burned around them, who held the line at Leipzig when everyone else ran. Now they're sprinting from a single helicopter. Napoleon's army is completely defeated. The Apache lands with 10 minutes of fuel remaining. Engines shut down. Sudden silence across the battlefield. The most one-sided battle in human history is over. Duration: 2.5 hours. Napoleon's casualties: thousands killed and wounded, the rest break and desert. Apache's casualties: some paint scratches and a maintenance light that won't stop blinking. The helicopter sits in a Belgian field, slowly becoming the world's most confusing archaeological find. Every nation in Europe will send their best minds to study it. They'll make detailed drawings they don't understand, take measurements that mean nothing without context, write reports that might as well be fantasy novels. They'll never fly it again. You can't make jet fuel from horse manure, no matter how hard you try. You can't machine replacement parts with hammers and good intentions. You can't download software updates via carrier pigeon. Without an enemy army to actually defeat him, Napoleon technically wins Waterloo. Except you can't claim victory when your entire army has dissolved like sugar in rain. He returns to Paris not as a conqueror, but as a man who's seen the future and knows his empire is already dead. The Apache becomes the 19th century's greatest mystery. Every conspiracy theory for the next 200 years will reference it. The British claim it was theirs. The Prussians say it was divine intervention. The Russians think it was a demon. The Austrians are still doing paperwork about it. So could one Apache defeat Napoleon's army? Absolutely. It would turn the Grand Armée into the Grand Retreat in less time than it takes to watch a movie. It would inflict thousands of casualties, destroy irreplaceable equipment, and shatter the morale of history's most successful military force. What would really happen if we dropped modern military hardware into historical battles? The answer is always the same: absolute dominance for exactly as long as the fuel lasts, followed by centuries of confusion. History isn't just written by the victors. Sometimes it's written by whoever can explain what the hell just happened.